Yep.
Like that?
Yep. Hello, dear listeners. It's that time again. Time for another Hey, I've Got an Idea show. That's my brother, Mason the Pickle Page Williams.
And that's my brother, Jared Bodyglove Williams.
That's just not me, though.
Yeah, no, I know. That's our third brother.
Okay, then I guess I should introduce myself as well. I'm Luke Lessashamed Williams.
And I'm Mason Tailsteak Williams.
Also
and
the
that's
Pickle
been
Page.
Hey, I've Got an Idea show. Thank you for listening. Good night.
I was thinking about giving you a minute to come up with your thing, to remind you that there's a room for a thing. But you see, I wanted to tie back in the pickle page that you just told me about. Your page that you pickled.
Yeah, I pickled some paper with words on it, and it was very tasty, and I put it on a sandwich.
Now, why was that? Was that because you were compelled to do something weird and nonsensical because of a superstition?
You know what? I'm gonna go with yes. This is the best intro. Thank you, Luke, for leading us here. Superstition is what we're making today here on Hey, I've Got an Idea, the show. We're going to make a superstition that, listeners, when we're done here, you will believe in it.
Yeah, this is so this invention podcast, we talk through we invented a new wait, hang on a second. I mean, we tend to invent things that make the world a better place, or at least in theory. We come up with something cool and we talk about it, and then we breathe life into it. Are we making the world a better place with a added superstition?
Luke, I refer you to the definitive text vis-a-vis superstition. I am speaking, of course, about the song Superstition by, I want to say Ray Charles?
I was going to say Ray Charles. I think it is.
We'll just assume that's right. Okay, so in that song, like I know the lyrics better than I know the artist who sang them, it was... Are we sure it's Ray Charles? Anyway, superstition says, very superstitious, wash your face and hands. And I submit to you that even if you don't understand or believe in germ theory, the idea of microorganisms on your face and hands, if you were to have a superstition that says, hey, after you have touched poop or raw meat, you should wash your face and hands, that would be a useful superstition for you to believe in. You don't have to explain what microorganisms are and convince people of that. You just get them thinking that, oh, I'd better wash my hands or it'll be bad luck.
So I guess something that makes sense to reference here is, I don't know what quite you would call it, but there have been through history plenty of times where, be it a tribal or just a cultural tradition that they do, it serves a purpose, it has a cause and effect, and whether or not they can explain why is not important. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, we could introduce something like that. Now, does that mean that we can suggest with the superstition that it's like, oh, this is a thing that you don't understand why you would do it for now, and in year like 2100, there's going to be some science that comes out and be like, oh, that's why we were glad that we did that superstition that the brothers invented.
Like let me say this. Like, let's say that you and we go back in time 100 years, and everybody's like, hey, we've discovered this new thing, asbestos. Let's put it in all the walls. It's fireproof. And we somehow get a propaganda campaign going, and we convince them to have a superstition that putting asbestos in your walls, it might make them fireproof, but it's bad luck. And then, like, when we come back to the present, we'll be like, hey, you know what? It's a good thing we thought asbestos was bad luck, because now we understand the science of what mesothelioma is. And if we had put asbestos in all the walls, ooh boy, that would have been bad.
Quick thing I want to reference here, and I know that all kinds of different cultures have different superstitions, different kinds of superstitions, and they kind of vary in every which direction. I mean, the common denominator is still human nature, but
Mhm.
even still, you've got different flavors based on the different cultures.
Sure.
I want to cite the fact that in Southeast Asian cultures, you have a lot of a focus on luck, and
Mm.
that there will be like, you do this for luck. These are your lucky numbers.
Mhm.
To take a coin, leave a coin, or something because it's good luck. Things like that. I apologize if I butchered that, but
Well, no, I think there's luck not only in those cultures, but there's plenty of other cultures. I mean, we think of luck, the standard like horseshoe, four-leaf clover, whatever. We have our own superstitions, and you might not always call what you're talking about luck. Like step on a crack, break your mother's back. We don't say, "Oh, it's unlucky to step on a crack," but I mean that's the idea, right?
mhm. Now I would say too that I cited the slightly more of a focus on it because it does sort of find its way into some Eastern religions as well. Like you'll
Hmm.
find people at um, Buddhist temples um, uh, doing the thing with the shaking of the incense and dropping it and like
Hmm.
counting how many and stuff like that. And they're trying to do it in the interest of like, hopefully it's good luck. And again, I apologize if I'm butchering any of this, but also our culture, our cultural Western association with luck is also sort of like, it's more of a functionality thing that this will help me at the casino,
Mm.
or I'm feeling lucky today, I'll buy a lottery ticket. Um, it seems to have a completely different cultural prevalence.
Well, the thing is here, like what you're talking about is you're looking at Eastern religions and you're conflating that with superstition. But over here, like you're having a dividing line. I would say if we count things you do for religious reasons as being superstitions, then yeah, I mean, we get the same sort of parallels. I mean, like, take a look at Judaism and the prohibition against pork, for example.
Mhm.
That's one of the ones people often cite as, oh, at the time, pork was full of parasites, so the Jews might not have known why they were avoiding pork, but it turned out to be a good thing. Like, that's the sort of thing that we would plant if you went back, thousands of years as a time traveler and you were like, hey, I know that pig is totally super tasty, but maybe don't eat it, it's dirty. And they're like, oh, okay, and then like they don't die of trichinosis. So and you don't think of that as a superstition, you think of that as a religion, as a religious law, and you're like, oh no, that's special, that's holy, how dare you call it a superstition? But then you're
Mhm.
doing the same thing to these Eastern religions. You're looking at a religious ritual and you're like, oh, that's just a superstition, they believe in luck. It's like, no, that's the same shit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you got a point there. Now,
Yeah.
this makes me a little bit nervous because, I mean, those that are much more atheistic or skeptical or sort of aspiritual, if you will,
Hmm.
they tend to look at on all religions as being superstition,
Yeah.
and that sort of puts us in a tricky position here. Of we gotta be a little bit particular about our wordings here. I don't mean to suggest any one thing about the validity of any of this. It's your belief structure. If you like it, cool.
Except Mormons. Your beliefs are silly. Everyone else, every other religion is
Mm,
fine, but Mormons, we're going to take a hard line on you
we
guys.
were so close. You couldn't have picked like a more villainous group like the Scientologists. Mormon
No.
Mormons can be kind of nice, at least.
Oh, that's how they get you.
Okay, fair.
Anyway, I as well, I don't want to stray too far into religion, not because I'm scared of offending people, I never have been, but because, quite frankly, we already did religion.
Yeah.
So I don't want to retread that ground. So here's the question: where do we draw the dividing line between a religious prohibition and a superstition? What is the difference?
Well, I think it comes down to the definition of like ritual.
Mhm.
If you're doing a thing that kind of looks like OCD, and
Uh-huh.
you just have this tendency like, oh, I can't open this door unless I touch that doorknob 5 times. It's
Mhm.
just a thing. It's like, oh, it's just a part of your brain that tells you to do that.
Right.
Oh God, now it's a new sensitive issue.
Yeah, because we don't want to stigmatize people who have legit like obsessive compulsive disorder. I get that that's a thing, and we want to be sensitive to everyone again, except for the Mormons. But
Man, if you're a Mormon with OCD listening to this, I apologize. I know that you don't, but no, okay, I think the ritual is playing into sort of what this is. Now, you could have a religious ritual where you choose to do a thing, but generally that's got like the full belief structure. You do this because of this God that has this structure. It has this community to it. It's got all these other part and parcel rituals. Whereas if you're superstitious about like don't break a mirror, it could be just as simple as don't break a mirror.
Right. So, like, if we say, okay, don't break a mirror, breaking a mirror is bad luck, then that's a superstition. But if we tie it in and say, don't break a mirror, it is bad luck because of this supernatural thing that is tied to it, because it angers this spirit, or because it disrupts this ley line. If you have some attempt at an explanation that is supernatural in origin, then it becomes viably religious.
It's a mirror god. If you break the mirror, then you release the mirror god, and then he will just reverse the world.
Okay, so in order for us to do superstition this episode, we have to make sure we have to avoid any sort of actual supernatural explanation. We can't come up with a backstory, no spirits involved. Not even anything so vague as to say, oh, it angers something. No, you can't. You just have to say, make sure you do this or don't do that, or if you do this, then do that, or else bad. And we gotta leave it at that.
Now, what's tricky about this is that, like, this is a legitimate concern both from when you initially pitched this as well as right now. We talked our way around sort of where the defining line ought to be for what this is. And yet, we've really brought down a limitation here that, like, oh, we're only going to make it be if this, then that, essentially, or don't this because that.
Right.
Let me just take a little peek here. And we got 45 minutes to fill.
Oh, we can do this.
Oh, you think so?
Okay, remember the cereal episode? We like a normal fucking invention podcast would have been, okay, we're gonna invent a cereal, pick a grain, pick another grain maybe, pick a flavor, pick a cartoon mascot, boom, done. That would have been 15 minutes. We did an hour and we talked about like exploding food trucks and holographic Marilyn Monroe pointing a gun at you. Like, I assure you, we can bullshit for 45 additional minutes.
All right. So, where do you want to start? What kind of nouns do you want to bring into this?
Okay, well,
wait. I got a better approach. Why don't you pick a noun, and I'll pick a verb, and we say it at the same time.
This always works out for the best. Okay, right. So I'm thinking of a noun right now. I got it in my head.
Yep.
You got your verb?
Yep.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Pie.
Farting. Oh, God.
Why? My dude, no. Don't fart on a pie. Yeah, I wasn't going to until you said that. Now I can't stop thinking about it. No, I want to fart on all the pies now. I can't because it's bad luck.
No, maybe it's more like if you fart while baking a pie, you'll wreck the pie. Like, even if it's in the oven and you're in the other room, can't do it.
Okay, no. I don't want this. We're coming at this the wrong angle. Like, as much as I love random bullshit, we want to make the world a better place, don't we? Don't we?
We do, but just in the interest of what it could be, could we just do a re-roll and we'll switch? Can you want to take verb and I'll take noun?
I'm gonna do the verb. You want me to do the verb?
Yeah. So then, okay, I got it.
Hang on. Got it.
All right.
3, 2, 1. return.
Garbage. Like the garbage returns after the truck took it?
Return to you. If the garbage returns to you, it's good luck. If you put out the garbage and it goes away, but then it comes back, that's a sign that you have good luck.
Maybe it's like if your roommate took out the garbage, but then you brought it back in and put it back in the garbage.
No. You think of the garbage like sourdough starter, right? So you put out the garbage, but then you pick one thing out of the garbage, bring it back, put it in the bottom of the empty can. That way the can will have at least one thing of garbage in it at all times. Because if you have a clean garbage can, it's not going to know it's a garbage can. That's bad luck. You don't have a garbage can. The garbage can must have at least one piece of garbage in it at all times. So you take out the garbage, you bring back one piece of garbage, put that in the clean can.
I think that kind of is a decent superstition right there, and I could see why someone would do something like that.
Which is weird because like superstitions like OCDs and so forth usually revolve around cleanliness. This is like bringing an item of filth back into your house.
Well,
but at the same time, it makes sense, like the whole sourdough starter idea of your garbage can having like sourdough garbage.
Right. Well, I frequently find myself, I've got 3 roommates, so we make a lot of garbage, a lot of recycling. I frequently find myself in the position of, like, the recycling bin inside is full, and the bin outside is full, nothing else can go in it. I collect all the recycling, but I can't put out that stuff that's inside until the other stuff gets taken, so there's just this holding pattern of, like, all right, here's the stuff that's inside until that bin is empty, and then, so it's like, I took out everything except the stuff that I couldn't, which I will do when I bring the bins back in.
And that's when you start looking around the neighborhood to see if any businesses have left their dumpsters unlocked, or like shit like that. It's like, can I, steal the empty space in someone else's garbage or recycling?
So I want to do the reroll one last time before we try a new angle. But I want to
one last
switch
time,
it.
and then we'll actually try to make the world a better place.
I want to switch
first,
it.
Reroll.
I want to do an adjective this time.
Oh shit!
And I think you should still then do verb.
Okay, so you want like adjective and verb and noun?
I guess I mean adverb. Adverb.
Adverb. Okay, so one of us has got to do. We'll have it mishmash. We want to do noun and adverb, and the other person does verb and adjective. So there's like a crisscross between us.
Wait, what?
Yeah, no, because if I do the noun and the adverb, I don't know what that adverb is applying to, but it's going to apply to your verb, and then you do the verb and the adjective, and you don't know what that adjective is going to apply to, but it's going to apply to my noun.
But I'm taking noun and adverb.
Yes, you're taking noun and adverb. I'm taking verb and adjective.
Okay,
all right, and here's the thing. You got to make sure you think of it ahead of time because we don't want to actually influence each other or make sense in any way.
Right.
So, okay, so I'm noun and adverb.
No, I'm noun adverb.
You're noun adverb. I'm verb adjective. Okay, verb adjective. I'm verb adjective. Let's think.
Got it?
Got it.
You got it? Okay.
Got it.
Count us in.
3, 2, 1. Peel
feather
red.
Nicely. What did you say? Peel bread?
Peel and red.
Red.
If you've got a red feather, you need to peel it nicely.
Oh, God. I mean, it's not an everyday occurrence, but, I mean, it could be like you found a lucky red feather, but then you gotta peel it nicely to unleash the luck or something.
How do you peel a feather?
Just slowly. Nicely.
Okay. Yeah, well, okay. Yeah, no, asked and answered. Yeah, okay. Maybe it just means that when you see a red feather, you have to peel the closest peelable object and do that nicely. It's like, oh, I saw a red feather. I wasn't planning on using this orange, but now I gotta peel something.
Obviously, you saw the red feather. Gotta peel that orange.
Yep.
What, you haven't heard that old adage?
Yeah. Red feather peel nicely. My grandmother told me that. Red feather peel nicely.
Okay, so what's your new approach?
Okay, so my new approach. Again, I want to come back to the idea of making the world a better place, getting people to do stuff even if they don't understand why. So there's people on this planet who don't believe in climate change, for example.
Ooh.
Yeah. So if we can convince people who don't believe in climate change, if we can just get them just superstitiously to reduce their emissions, the same shit is accomplished, you know?
So go green or become a bean.
Well, I mean, it rhymes, so it must be true, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to become a bean.
I'd better like walk the 3 blocks instead of taking my car. Also, I'm gonna be drinking, so I might it's gonna be inconvenient. I should walk anyway.
Yeah. Making the world a better place.
Okay, so how do we trick non-climate believers into, for some other luck-based reason, doing environmentally responsible things?
How do we trick climate change deniers? I mean, what's the incentive that would speak to them on average? Like, if we take that entire demographic, we can make some presumptions, but the one unifying factor is, it was really tempting to just say dumb, but no, the actual common denominator is that they don't believe in climate change being like done by humans, basically.
Well, I mean, let's also be clear here. This is a superstition. It works whether you believe in it or not. So we don't have to specifically say if you don't believe in climate change, then plant a tree. We can just establish a superstition for everybody to plant a tree, and the non-climate change believers will also do it.
True.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like every time you get double zeros in something, then you're like, oh, I'd better plant a tree.
Yeah, something like that could work. But I really want to bring it to a simple rhyming structure to
yeah, no, rhymes are true. If it rhymes, it's true. That's true.
Plant a tree, and you can go free.
When you pee, plant a tree. Every time you urinate, you have to plant a tree.
I kind of like the concept of plant a tree and you can go free. It just requires us to kidnap everyone once.
That's sort of less a superstition and more us doing a really weirdly specific like kidnapping spree and just like forcing other people against their will to be environmentally responsible. And we don't want to force people to do things against their will. We want to trick them into doing things, which is very different.
Right. Okay. So, I'm thinking of other helpful, useful ways to make to like get rid of the barriers that might cause people to not do this thing. I mean, it's not like you can just plant a tree for the sake of planting a tree. Like if you
very often that's incredibly inconvenient. Like if you had to plant a tree right now, it would be hours out of your way. Like you're not gonna like just plant one in the middle of the sidewalk outside your apartment. You would have to like buy a tree.
Yeah. Or
drive the fuck out to who knows where.
If on some initiative you just brought a small, sizable potted tree that's maybe, 3 feet tall, if you just brought one to an entire office, being like, okay, here's we're this is our initiative. Everybody take home the tree and plant it. And then people are like, but I was going to the cottage. I gotta take the subway. I have to pick up the kids from soccer.
Yeah, that's another thing about superstitions is it's generally small and easy and convenient. Like, oh, you touched something dirty, wash your hands, or oh, don't break mirrors, it's bad. Like, you don't have a superstition that's like, oh, you accidentally, touched your left eye. Now you have to drive to Texas and back. Like, no one would give a shit. It'd be like, you know what? I'll take the bad luck. I got shit to do. And I touched my left eye, my bad.
Yeah, but when you see the stories of people that are doing really exorbitant, unnecessary habits, it's a sign of how committed they are to how crazy that is. Like
Yeah, like
how
that's gone beyond superstition. Like if you're putting in more than an hour a day, that's not a superstition. That is a terrifying compulsion.
yeah.
We want something that's like, oh, I saw this thing. Oh, I do this little ritual that takes 10 seconds. So how does a normal person make the world better in 10 seconds?
Okay. Here's one angle I want to just touch on really quickly. This is a way that we could bring it into the modern digital age.
Okay.
Because there's this one company that I think it's an American company, but there should be Canadian equivalent. That I wanna talk about for simplicity of how to effectively do this thing. But it sounds like this is a sponsorship deal, me promoting this service, but it's not. The company was called Acorns for the U.S. Have you heard of it?
Wasn't that shit that like did voter fraud and everybody freaked out about it?
No. This is not that. I'm
okay.
Relatively confident it's not that.
You're sure it's not like a subsidiary?
I don't know, but I'm gonna describe the thing so that not look it up.
Okay.
Anyway, regardless of what other stuff they might be up to, the main thing is that for those who pay with their phone, which is a relatively common thing now, it's Google Wallet or whatever, or
sure,
Apple Pay.
Sure.
I might have that backwards. Anyway.
Like put more and more of your life into your phone so that if you lose it, you just curl up and die. Yeah.
It's more the fact that you can back up all that stuff on the cloud with your own passwords, and the phone does, like recent modern phones do have like the thumbprint scanner in the button. So it literally, you can't pay without your thumbprint being part of it. That's more than a little bit authenticated.
Granted.
Now here's the thing. The way that it works is it basically takes all of your purchases that you will do and just rounds up the change to $1. So instead of it being, 44.36, it's now 45.
All right.
And it does that, and this app will just automatically like do that so that it makes sure that other couple of cents are there, and it just does the investing for you. It just puts it away. Every time, every single purchase. You think about that. Some people purchase things like 10, 15, 20 times a day. And then they do that for a couple of years. Who knows how much they could have put away, right?
I honestly, the way you were describing it, I thought that you were going to say they give it to charity. But no, they go to invest. I guess you could then turn around and however much money you have invested, you could donate that to charity if you so chose. But
the point I'm getting at is, for a modern thing that we could potentially actually invent, a modern invention,
all right,
using data, using something like this, that could not be any easier. It's just the thing that you're doing anyway. This is probably the key to this. The thing that you're doing anyway, changing one thing about it and having there be a net gain, like a major, like, other benefit.
Okay, I got the thing here right in your smartphone. You ready for this?
Okay.
You got an app in your smartphone.
Yep.
Every time you connect to a new Wi-Fi network, like you move to a new area and you're like, oh, I'm at the Tim Hortons, I'm going to connect to Tim Hortons Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
It just superstitiously, whenever you connect to a new Wi-Fi network, it is good luck for you to donate $1 to a charity. So you have this thing in here and it's like detects, oh, you just connected to a new Wi-Fi network. Automatically, I'm donating $1 to charity. And you can have a cap on it. You can say, oh, I don't ever want to, just in case you're rapidly going between two Wi-Fi networks and your phone's fritzing out, it never donates more than $10 in a day. And it's like, this is your app. Just leave it running in the background and it gives you good luck all day. Because everybody knows if you connect to a Wi-Fi network, you always do like a little $1 to charity. That gives you good luck on that network. You're going to find the best JPEGs.
I mean, here's the thing. For me, and probably for you, and other people that might be a little too frugal to be able to afford to do that kind of thing, I think that it's not quite the right target to hit that, right? That it's like, oh, yeah, that would be nice, but I can't really afford to do that because I don't want to lose track of those couple of dollars that easily. However, paying into good luck, I think there is a market for that. I think there is definitely a clientele that if you sold them like a good luck app, and that is how it worked. Like that's the trigger that happens. It's like you're in a new place, you're on a new Wi-Fi, or even if we just made it like a location, new place, good luck.
Sure.
And
You're in this new place, and you want to make sure that you enter this new place and just enter with a good luck gesture. So as soon as you come into this place, like you christen it, like you would christen a ship. You're like, okay, I'm going to christen my relationship with this area. The first thing I do in this area is give a little money to charity. And so everybody in this area, they're like, hey, you just showed up in this area. What do? And they're like, well, you know what? I just showed up here. I gave $1 to United Way. And they're like, oh, cool. We're going to make sure that you have good luck in this area then, because you're clearly a good person.
Okay, two things real quick. One is that this reminds me of when a cashier will ask you, do you want to give $1 to our charity for today?
Right.
And if you do that thing, great.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
If that's the thing that you do, great. For me personally, I almost never do. And
yeah, because I mean, they very often, like, you can't vet that charity when you're in the grocery store. You're like, hey, do you want to give this money to autism? And I'm like, well, what is this specific charity here? Is this a charity that helps people with autism? Is this a charity that helps specifically kids with autism? What are the benefits that they provide to these people? And they're like, look, I don't know, man. I just work here. Do you want to put your change in the little plexiglass box or not?
You're holding up the line.
Yeah. And I'm like,
excuse me, sir. You're causing a scene.
Yeah, it's like I need to know how much of this charity goes to overhead and how much goes to actually help people.
Sir, like, if I put $1 in, will you stop?
Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing, is if you've got the app, you could probably like select the charities, and then there are charities that you would know. You'd be able to look them up, and you're like, oh yeah, United Way, I know this percentage of the money actually goes to help people, and only this percentage is overhead, so that's a good charity. I will make sure that my charity, good luck thing always goes to United Way.
Okay.
Or, here's a thought.
Mm-hmm.
Donate to Squarespace. Ladies and gentlemen, if you could head on over to squarespace.org/donate, they're running a charity. Just go ahead, throw them your money. It goes directly to help the people who need it most. Squarespace's CEOs. They need your money in order to buy bigger things. Additional spaces. Make them square. Do the right thing, ladies and gentlemen. Head on over to squarespace.net/donate today. Give them, ideally, all of your money. Squarespace.
Be a sponsor.
Give money to Squarespace.
No.
They paid me to say that, so.
They didn't, though.
Yeah, but, I mean, they could, though.
So we're not designing an app, but there is one other app quick conversation I want to mention, because this one actually comes courtesy of one of the Super Beard Bros, a YouTube group that I watch semi-regularly.
Okay.
A guy from that had an idea way back when. I don't remember what the topic was, but he just had this idea that if people, it was like based off of like proximity, and if you were logged in or whatever, just easy to like perpetually log in, you could anonymously give someone a killing it. It's kind of not dissimilar from like Street Pass for the 3DS. Okay. But where that happens automatically, and then you have, oh, you passed me. And the cool thing about that is the geolocation thing that happens after. It's like, I'm from Scotland. It's like, whoa, that guy was from Scotland and he had a 3DS. What are the chances?
Pretty good, actually.
I mean, it's cool because if you go to a convention, that's what happens, is you just have constant street passes happening. You got to keep updating them. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. But this killing it concept is like you could anonymously, when you're nearby somebody and you like their outfit, or you like the way they walk, or whatever, you could just like give them a digital thumbs up that they find later, and it's like, oh, somebody liked the cut of my jib. That's cool.
Now, here's the thing. How does that target a specific person? If you're in the region and you're just like, hey, there's a person near me killing it, how does the phone know that it goes to that guy and not the other guy standing beside him? Maybe that other guy standing beside him is not killing it.
Yeah, I mean, that part of the tricky thing there is that, you need to have reception, which for you out in a slightly more rural city, that's not as big of an issue.
I would not call the 4 rural, thank you very much.
It's the forest city. You're in a forest.
That's fair. I mean, we are the 4 and we are the forest, so...
What I mean to say is, it is a significantly larger concern for those of us that can be easily underground for a better part of our day during commuting.
Because you live in the undercity amongst the mole people, yes.
Right. And while I'm doing that, if I happen to see a mole that is killing it, and I want to give him a kill in it, but I can't connect to the internet to do so, and then he goes away,
it's like,
I miss my window.
You're killing it!
I'm not sure where the sweet spot is for that kind of thing.
Also, just the phrase "you're killing it," devoid of context, is not. That could be misinterpreted.
Wait, you don't like it?
I mean, if you're just yelling it at a random mole person, they're like, "What? No, I don't want to kill it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to kill it. What am I killing? Is it your dog? I'm sorry."
Here's a superstition.
Okay.
If you see a mole person, kill it.
I would say that is not a good thing to do.
Yeah, that's not making the world a better place. It's easy to say now because the uprising hasn't happened, but
well, I mean that's less of a superstition and more of we're fighting a war for our very survival as a species, and here are your orders, soldier. Like that, I wouldn't call orders from your general a superstition. It's like, oh, it's good luck to shoot at the enemy. Like, let's.
I mean, it is.
Yeah. Granted, it's like, oh, it's good luck to have a clean uniform. Everybody knows it's good luck to march. It's like that's not how the army works. But I mean, if it makes you a good soldier, I guess do it.
A soldier of fortune. You're welcome.
Of being fortunate, yeah.
You're welcome.
So to have that be the thing that like drives all occupations. Like when I'm at the call center, is be like, oh, it sure is good luck not to spend too much time between calls. And it's like, oh, I want to be fortunate. I'll make sure I'm not sitting around in after call, and I go right back into the queue. Is like, I don't need to know why doing my job well is good. I could just have a superstition that I don't sit in after call.
Now, I want to steer this back towards superstition. But let's just talk to human nature about one more thing.
Okay.
Progress bars.
Yes.
We like them.
People love that shit.
People love progress bars.
Are you talking about a gamified superstition?
I mean, I think that's where we're going, yeah.
Okay, so anytime you see X, then you have to do Y. But if you keep a tally in your head, and if you do like multiple Ys in the day, then you could be like, oh man, at the end of the day, I did 10 Ys. I have 10 luck. That's badass.
Maybe it's more of it could even be a counting thing, right? Because there are some superstitions that are based off of like, oh, if you see 9 crows, you'll have good luck. But if a 10th one joins them, then like, don't look at the 10th one or something.
Okay.
I'm kind of bullshitting this, but point being, you could have like a tally app where you want to see like 3 cats and like a person with a mohawk and like 5 people with sunglasses, and like you could start your day wanting to balance this out. And if you make it to the end of your day and you filled up all the progress bars and you didn't go over, and you led a balanced day.
Does that mean that, like, on a day when I just stay home, that I'm going to have bad luck? I don't want that. Because there are several days where I will just be staying home because I don't have to go out and do shit. I'm doing stuff around the house, and I don't want those days to be unlucky. I'm going to feel bad about days that I don't have shit to do outside the house. You're making me go outside. That's not what I want.
Fair. But I mean, it could be custom suited to the person. I mean, they do make productivity apps for this very reason. We really don't need to invent a productivity app.
No.
The competition's a little too fierce. And
okay.
Those people will be much better at that than we are.
Let me hit you with this. Let's say it's a superstition that anytime you're having a conversation with people and somebody, like, accidentally, I don't know, drop something, and like they feel like a klutz, like, oh no, I dropped something. It is good luck for you to immediately compliment something else about them, so they feel a little better, right? So that's like a nice thing to do, brighten up their day. It's like, oh, you just dropped a mug, but you know what? Your hair's looking great. And then when you do that, not only do you know, oh, I'm going to have the good luck for complimenting you because you dropped a thing, but then you whip out your phone and you're like, hey, I did one of those compliment things, ding. And then there's a progress bar app, and then at the end of the day, you could be like, oh man, I complimented 12 people. Man, all of my friends are klutzes, but they look really good.
No, there's definitely going to be a problem there where people will definitely think you're disingenuous because you're doing it just to fill in the progress bar. So I don't think that's going to be the way that you could
like I would drop a mug and someone would be like, love your hair, and I'm like, I don't have any, what are you talking about?
Calling that a win.
Good.
Filled in the hair bar.
Like, don't count that one. That was clearly a bad compliment. I'm not gonna let you fill in that. No, give me your phone. I'm not gonna let you hit the thing. That's not a good compliment. Give me your phone. And I dropped it. Yeah, but you got really nice eyes. Shut up. Also, I'm sorry about your phone.
Maybe if somebody drops something at the dinner table, the good luck thing could be to fart on the pie, and then.
Okay, all right.
Okay, no, here's another thing. I'm sure that we can cater to a good luck crowd. I'm sure that there is a demographic out there where they want us to spin them some kind of, good luck thing they didn't know they needed.
Right.
I don't want to, like, it's harder. If that's the incentive, I don't think we're in as good a place as we could be. Like, I think a planting of a tree or something like that, like, I'm not necessarily planting a tree, but something like that makes sense to me. That's like a measurable good.
Okay, so how about this? You have an app. I don't know why we keep coming back to apps. We really don't need apps for superstitions. But you have an app, and every time you plant a tree, that, it has to be real. It has to have a chance of surviving. You can't just, like, put it in your driveway and say, that one counts.
It's not like a fake Christmas tree.
Yeah, you can't just, like, grab an acorn off the tree and then bury it next to that same tree and be like, I did my part. It's like, no, you didn't. It would have fallen off anyway. But no, every time you legit plant a tree, you get to tip the app, and then we'll have it as a superstition that, when you reach the end of your life and you're about to die, every tree that you have planted gives you an extra second to say goodbye to people on your deathbed.
This is the long haul.
Yeah, that's you're playing the long game with this one, and you're like, oh, you know what? I planted thousands of trees in my life, so I've got 1,000 seconds in between knowing I'm about to die and when I actually die. So that gives me time to be like, oh wait, shit, I gotta write a will.
Now, this ties entirely too perfectly to one of those feel good posts that I saw someone post a while back on Facebook. That was a story of a guy that every day his ritual was that he would take a sapling tree, and walk several miles outside of the village to where there's more deserted area was.
Yeah.
And he would plant that tree and then go back, and that was every day for 37 years. And what happened, I don't know where he's sourcing these from or whatever.
Yeah, where's he getting these trees? Is he stealing them from his neighbors?
I don't know.
Were they going to plant them anyway and he's just stealing them? Because that doesn't count.
Maybe it has to do with that there's a very affordably, moderately priced tree store, or maybe that tree store, gave one every day, and that's the deal.
Okay.
Anyway, the point being, the net good at the end was that he made an oasis slowly over 37 years, and now wildlife is able to live there.
Cool.
That couldn't have lived in the nearby area before. So that just seems more than a little bit apropos to bring that up.
I think I did see
about.
something about this. I didn't click on it because it looked like obvious clickbait. And the reason why I remember it is I remember seeing this, and the way it was presented to me as like a clickbait headline was it showed this guy walking, and the headline was something like, this man walked out into the desert and he had a surprise in his bag and you'll never guess what. But the picture, I could clearly see there was a top of a tree sticking out of it. And I'm like, no, you know what? I can guess what. And if you're saying he did this every day for years, I can guess what happened because I know how trees work.
Doctors still hate him though.
Yeah, no, doctors hate his fucking guts.
So we got to wrap this up somehow.
Okay. So what have we got in total?
We got trees, progress bars, people's habits.
Okay.
There's app. We want app support, but we don't want to design just an app.
Right. We want an app that can support the Superstition, but we also want this Superstition to be available to people who maybe are not app kind of people, who don't bullshit around on their phones all day. We still want the Superstition to affect them.
Maybe it could be that there's a pen and paper version. It's just easier with the app. And I think it should be a tally.
Okay.
Now you were saying a tally of you gotta say a nice thing. Something more discreet than that at very least. Maybe it's a good deed, just a general good deed thing that you do 3 a day, and it's good. Obviously, it's good, but then the secret to that being, if you're going to, don't let anyone see you tallying. You gotta do it in a toilet stall or something.
Right. If someone catches your tally, if they see your secret diary of tally marks, then all that luck that you've accumulated goes away.
Now, what if we even the gamification could be, you have skill trees?
Yes.
You could have different branches that represent different kinds of things, and we could just call it the tally tree.
Okay, so here's the thing. What are we tallying? Are we tallying planting actual trees? Are we tallying, not driving your car? Are we tallying, recycling well? Are we tallying giving money to charity?
It could be all of those things. It could be that it's custom defined and you get in there and make it nitty gritty, but it should come with a bit of a template.
All right. So you have this idea that you can gamify your karma, and the good things that you do give you different kinds of bonuses to the different branches of that tree.
Mm-hmm. But this is kind of more of a philosophy than a superstition. It's sort of do your tree every day. Do at least a little something. Don't neglect the tree.
And honestly, it's also kind of close to what I actually do. Like, on days when I have some measure of control over my own life, very often what I'll do is I will make this big special version of a to-do list, and it'll have all the stuff that I want to do that day. And, like, as I go through, I tally it up, and I'll have, like, a little incentive to myself, and I'll be like, hey, if I reach 100 points at the end of the day, then I'm a good little worker boy, and I did my shit.
I know that and that really works for you. I've seen this system in action for, I mean, you've been doing that at least a year, right?
Yeah, no, it's good. And like days when I have those lists are fun days, not only because, you know, it's a day where I have some measure of control over my life and my schedule, but also because like I get to say, hey, I got this many points in the little red tasks. I got that many points in the little yellow tasks. And oh, I unlocked this combo, so I get more points. And it just helps me stay incentivized to do my shit.
I think that what we have here is larger form concept, and we could just like punctuate this with like a really small rhyming one-liner, and then that'll be like, you know, one of these is a superstition. We're not gonna tell you which one. That's what we did this week. So the big concept is tally tree, and if you like the sound of it, if you want to implement something like that, if you think of some more ways to develop that further, or you want to continue this conversation, hey, you know, if you're listening to this on YouTube, hey, look at those comments down there. You got something you want to submit that is on, like, what do you do, essentially? You can throw it down there. I'm not going to stop you.
Yeah, no, by all means, spread your wisdom like manure around the base of a tree that will allow it to grow.
But otherwise, we have a Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can do something there.
Comment on this Instagram. If you are looking at this quote and this quote gets posted to Instagram, leave a comment.
Perfect. But the one-liner, if that's not satisfying for you enough as a superstition, fart during pie, say goodbye.
Yes. If you fart during when pie is happening, if you pass gas, it is bad. As opposed to all the other times when it's very good.
Fart during sandwiches, you get nothing rhymes with sandwiches. I didn't plan that well.
No, you get man ridges. You get like ridges on your manhood, and then you're ribbed for her pleasure.
So that's an episode, eh? We did
Fart
it.
during sandwiches, get yourself some man ridges. I'm going to go have a sandwich right now, and I am going to fart myself up a storm. My dick's going to look like Worf's forehead. It's going to be awesome.
We're not quite done yet.
Wait, what? No.
There's one before you go get that fart sandwich.
I need it.
Whoo, boys. My turn to pick our next invention.
Wait, is it?
I believe so.
I thought it was my turn.
Nope, mine.
God damn it.
Are you ready?
No.
For my selection.
I had an idea, and now we're doing your thing. So yeah, let's...
I appreciate you referencing our namesake. You know, name drop.
Yeah.
But I have a better idea.
Shit.
That's our sequel podcast.
Fuck.
And that, for this time, this week, this next week coming is...
Shit, let me think.
Well, it's not shit. Like, we already have that.
Yeah, I guess that's already pretty much a thing. How about we do a commercial?
Like a TV commercial?
Yes.
Like,
such as
might appear on the Super Bowl?
I mean, we don't have to shoot for the stars, but, like, we could just do regular commercial.
But the Super Bowl, though.
No, there isn't.
It's a bowl. It's very super. There's a left shark.
There is.
Everyone loves left shark.
Let's do a commercial next week.
Okay. Good. This is good. This is a good podcast.
And until next time, I guess.
Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thumbs up monorail eggplant.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Yep.
Can't bop.
Yep.
Can't bop.
Yep.
Can't bop.
Yep.
Can't. Like that?
Yep.